Hey everybody, and welcome to a brand new installment of Nintendo News Report for Friday, February 6, 2015. I am your host, Alexander Kalafi, and joining me for a very special Nintendo News Report, NWR News Editor Alex Osborn,
Hello, hello.
and a very special guest this week, Christopher C.J. Johnston of the legendary Player One podcast.
Hello, hello, Alex and Alex. Good to be here.
The Alex
Hello!
Taylor.
So what happened this week is that for two totally different reasons, our other normal co-hosts, Neil and Scott, could not be with us. So we made do with two people who, in my opinion, are just as good, if not better.
Thank you,
So,
sir.
no, I love those guys too. But let's have a pretty good show. We got Xenoblade Chronicles stuff. This week's top story, Xenoblade Chronicles X almost Nintendo Direct. There was a stream in Japan that went over a lot of details for Xenoblade Chronicles X. It was almost kind of a Nintendo Direct, but I don't think it was officially called the Nintendo Direct. It announced a few things, including a new Wii U bundle for Xenoblade Chronicles X that retails for 35,000 yen. It's a 32 gigabyte model, comes with a gamepad, comes with Xenoblade Chronicles X, an art book, a special card, and a 1,000 yen prepaid card with an original design. It announced that Xenoblade now has a preload option, despite the fact that the game comes out in like 2.5 months. It's 22.7 gigabytes. You can download that now and then play it when it comes out April 29th. There is in-game stuff that they announced. Relationships between characters expand by interacting. Sounds like a Persona type thing, but maybe not as detailed. You can do skip traveling. You can do all the in-game areas and continents seem totally huge. The dolls, aka mechs, continue to look super amazing. And there are some dope earthy locations too, like shopping districts, and there's this place called Neo Los Angeles that's really interesting for the JRPG backing, where it has like the shopping center, and it has like these nice houses that look like Michael's house from GTA 5, and it actually looks like Los Angeles, but in the future, and that's super good. There's Miiverse support, it supports USB keyboards, and then for multiplayer, it was announced that up to 32 players can be passively connected to exchange strategic information or items, and then 4 players can also do quests together. So before I ask for your reaction on this, you were telling me, Chris, that you are not much of a Xenoblade person.
No, I am. I'm not. I got into the Wii game a little bit, but never finished it. Never wanted to devote the time to it, unfortunately.
What made you stop?
The time commitment. Everything else about the game is great.
To burn? Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's on the short side, that game is 63 hours easily. That's a specific number. That was because my time was 63 hours. But what about you, Alex Osborn? Did you play Xenoblade
honestly,
Chronicles?
the more I see this game, the less I'm interested. Just because the mystery sort of behind it, and everything. It seems to me like this is very much a sequel to Xenoblade Chronicles, which I couldn't get into myself either. Not necessarily because of the time commitment, but because the MMOE elements. I prefer more of a traditional Japanese role-playing game. So, yeah. But I mean, the variety and locales and stuff looks awesome. I'm not a huge fan of the character models and stuff, but it'll be interesting. I don't know if I'll play it, but I'm excited to see sort of the way the general role-playing community takes to it. I mean, but after seeing that Persona 5 trailer, I have to bring it up. All JRPGs pale in comparison, so.
Yup, it's that game is going to be super amazing. It looks like it's going to be Persona 4, but have the detailed city of and fantastic as Persona 4. It's like it's good to see games like this in Persona that care so much about providing like this extremely detailed RPG experience. Like, people keep talking about the revival of the JRPG or the death of the JRPG. I think games like this, games like Persona 4, games like the first Xenoblade, I don't think the JRPG ever died. I think it took a break in the early 2000s for a little while,
Yeah.
and then it came back in full force. Like, it's not the main genre anymore like it was when Final Fantasy VII came out, but did the JRPGs ever go away?
No, they didn't.
Yeah.
Just the big name ones did. And
Right.
we got a little more niche with those, and you have Atlas and NIS putting out great stuff still. It definitely didn't go away.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like just
So
as the market itself has expanded,
Yeah.
to Call of Duty and everything else. I mean, gaming is not a niche, hobby anymore. So
Yeah.
naturally,
yeah, regardless of what genre you enjoy or what type of video games you enjoy, there is more now than there ever was in the past. Anyways, talking about the actual Xenoblade Chronicles X, I am super excited about this game, just because I love super big RPGs, and it seems like they really care about this game. And CJ, you told me you're not into Xenoblade Chronicles 1. Are you at all looking forward to this one after seeing the cool mech stuff and seeing the huge world and all that stuff, or are you like Alex, where you're actually losing interest as this game goes on?
I mean, it looks great. Like if there were like an 8-hour version of it that I could play, I'd be all about that. But there's not, so it's one of those things. Once you cross the threshold of being like over 35 with family, like you just can't devote that much time to an RPG. Although, hey, with off TV play, maybe I could, but I am not sure I'll give it a try.
So this whole thing with you saying you would play it if there was an 8-hour version, would you really want to play an 8-hour JRPG?
Sure, yeah. If it cut everything to just the good parts, why not?
Yeah. I guess that really.
Or just watch all the cutscenes on YouTube. It's probably what I'll end up doing.
Well, there you go. I might do that too.
It's but that's what the South Park game too was, wasn't it? Like that pretty much was a 10-hour JRPG.
Yep. Yep. And that
pretty
was
much
perfect length for that.
Were you a big fan of the South Park game?
I only played that about halfway through. I gotta go back and play that, but yeah, I liked it a lot.
Yeah, it's that game. It's like it wasn't much of an RPG, but it was a fantastic South Park video game. Anyways, let's talk about other Xenoblade stuff. We're not going to be doing new releases this week because the only stuff that came out was the Monster Hunter 4 demo and a big Ubisoft sale, pretty much. And because I'm playing Monster Hunter 4 right now, we're probably going to talk about it next week on next week's show, if not Connectivity. You guys will get your Monster Hunter discussion. It just won't be right now. But in its place, we are going to be talking about Xenoblade Chronicles 3D, which now has a release date and amiibo support. And it supports amiibo with Shulk's amiibo, and if you put it on the new 3DS, you can obtain tokens, and this unlocks content in this collection mode, which is 3D models and music. And it also has a Street Pass mode, which seems to also give you tokens for 3D models and music. And it also is announced for April 10th in North America and April 2nd in Europe, excuse me. And the trailer looks very good. So I've heard complete indifference to Xenoblade so far. This new 3DS version, are either of you going to give this a shot?
I don't know. I don't know. I'm on the fence. I could see myself picking it up and then playing 5 hours and then putting it down. So I don't know. Depends on my mood. I mean, if I really am committed to trying Xenoblade Chronicles X, this holiday, I'll have to, just for I don't know, prep sake, continuity sake. But I don't know.
Okay. Well, what about you, Chris?
Definitely not. But I do think that it's going to be interesting to see how this plays as a portable game, because you can just put the new 3DS to sleep, and if you do a 68-hour RPG in 15-minute chunks, that's gonna last you quite a while, and I could see that. People who download this kind of thing digitally and travel a lot, that's the perfect kind of game to take up flight time and any waiting time they have to do.
Sure. I am in the camp who loved the original Xenoblade. It was actually one of my first big reviews for NWR, and I gave it a 9.5. I want to play it again, so I'm going to pick up this game before Xenoblade Chronicles X. I would like to note, though, that I have a prediction about this game. I think that the new 3DS is a niche product, and because it's a niche product, I don't know how this game is going to be distributed. It's not going to be at every single store, and I don't even know if it's going to be at all the major retailers. So I'm predicting that this game is one of the Club Nintendo Elite Rewards for April, because it comes out right after the Club Nintendo Elite period ends for 2015, its final year. And, you know, it's April 10th in North America. 10 days is about how long it takes for the Elite Rewards to be announced. There isn't much of a market for this game outside of GameStop and a Club Nintendo promotion and eShop. I mean,
I can't imagine Nintendo giving away a brand new release like that, though.
It's the final Club Nintendo reward, and I think they're going to go big or go home with it. I at least hope they are, because as we're going to talk about later, they pretty much went big instead of went home with their new Club Nintendo lineup. I don't know. My hopes are up just because of the way the timing works out. Alrighty. Okay, this show is actually moving along way faster than I thought it was, because I did not anticipate two people who weren't really into Xenoblade, but you know what?
I do have a question for you, Alex.
Okay, go ahead.
Quick question for you. So, how many 68-hour RPGs would you play? Or 68-hour games would you play like twice? Is Xenoblade the only one you would play twice?
I played Persona 4 twice. Persona 4 Golden, which was
really? Okay.
About 50 hours each. That brought me to about 90 hours. And then if you would include Pokemon games in that, not counting multiple playthroughs, that happened. So I played Pokemon games for over 100 hours, which isn't that insane. I've played Animal Crossing games for 100 hours, and then GTA 4 and GTA 5 and Red Dead Redemption I've also played that much.
Okay.
Those are my 100-hour games. What about you, Chris?
I don't think I've played any game that long more than once.
Ever? Oh, okay.
I can't think of any. How about you, Alex?
Ditto. Yeah, no way. No, not the time. But while we're on the topic of new 3DS, do you guys think we're going to see many games beyond Xenoblade Chronicles 3D as far as exclusive games that take advantage of the hardware?
There will be a few. I don't think Xenoblade is going to be it, but I think they're all going to be at the level of prominence of Xenoblade, where some people care about them, a certain audience cares about them. But like, let's say there was a Super Mario 3D Land 2 or Kid Icarus Uprising 2. Those would not be new 3DS exclusives by any means. They might be better on new 3DS, but they definitely wouldn't be new 3DS exclusive, because frankly that would be a dumb move. But there's a place for games like this that utilize the new 3DS's power.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Okay. Well, moving on to news. First up, we got new details of Splatoon. It's primarily that Splatoon will not support voice chat, at least in random matches. It's unknown whether you'll be able to communicate with friends during friend matches, but that seems up in the air, which makes me kind of uncomfortable. Outside of online multiplayer, there's also local multiplayer, as well as the single-player 3D platformer game type called Hero Mode, which isn't exactly clear what that is yet, but I'm hoping that's some kind of story mode. And then also interesting is that there are no CPU players thrown into the mix, and that the game only supports human-controlled 4v4 matches. Like, I was reading your story, Alex, and it said that the game... Actually, no, I don't know if it was your story or the NeoGAF thread that was saying that the game won't actually start until there are 8 players in the match proper. So if there's 6 or 7, the match won't start at all. And I think that's interesting. Voice chat. I don't know about this one, because it seems like voice chat is almost a relic of the past in some ways. Just the way it's in its it's like a proprietary thing in games. Like, a lot of people don't use the Call of Duty voice chat anymore. They use Skype with their friends, or they use the party chat feature. On Vita, it's entirely through party chat feature. Once in Smash Bros, even though the voice chat isn't really all there, a lot of people don't care because they talk on Skype anyways. So I think it's not good, but because of the way voice chat is now, it might not be anything to lose your mind over.
I don't know. I feel like, especially with like a shooter, you need it. I mean, Call of Duty is different because it's very much, I don't know, it feels like a solitary experience. It's become that way. And I think a lot of people just don't want to deal with the screaming little children. But with like Splatoon, like it seems like a game that you'd want to communicate. I mean, and sure, we'll probably have that because it does support couch co-op, right? Or couch competitive, up to what, 4 players or so?
Yeah, I think it's up to 4 players. Can't the Wii U in some cases support 8 players if it really wants to, like with Smash Bros? I wonder if that's going to work out this way.
Yeah. So I mean, I really don't know. I feel like, it's another sort of missed opportunity by Nintendo, but again, they seem to they seem to march to the beat of their own drum and do just fine. So.
When was the last time in a online multiplayer game you used the voice chat provided by that system, either on PlayStation Network or Xbox? Or, it's been a while for me anyway.
That's true. It's a good point. I mean, yeah, honestly, I haven't. I've withdrawn from most multiplayer experiences in general anyway. I think the last thing I really got into was Halo 2, Halo 3, and then kind of fell off.
Yeah, and even then, like I muted most players in those games, like just so that I could have fun, sort of having a solo experience within the multiplayer mode. So this might not be that bad.
That's true. It's a good point.
It's are you of the mind that like this isn't that big of a deal in general, Chris? Like it's just people find a way.
Yeah, I mean, how many times is Nintendo going to not announce some advanced feature that we all expect because Sony and Microsoft have it, but Nintendo doesn't? I mean, by now you'd think we're used to that, right?
Yeah, hashtag because it's a Nintendo, right?
Right, exactly.
The other thing I want to talk about is this hero mode, how they referred to it as a 3D platforming game. I don't know how I feel about this. I wonder if it's going to be a shoehorned single-player mode that's like 3 hours long and is just there so Nintendo can check a box. I don't know. I don't know if I'm looking forward to that part of it.
I feel like I don't think it's going to be super shallow. I don't think that's the way Nintendo operates. Everything that they do has a certain level of polish. But I do think it'll pale in comparison to the multiplayer, which is clearly the focus here. So.
Yeah, I wonder how it's set up exactly. Like, if it's a single-player mode that teaches you, advanced techniques or strategies for the multiplayer game, then that won't be too bad. I mean, there are people out there who, when you get thrown into a multiplayer match, like your first time, they're going to get really disappointed, or they're probably not going to do well their first time out. So maybe this is a sort of beginners to ease people in, and then work up to the multiplayer modes.
Mm-hmm. And from what we've seen, it looks like there's quite a few unlocks and stuff. So maybe this is another opportunity for players to sort of accrue some different gear or whatever before they hop in online.
Yeah. It's I'm curious about this game. It's definitely not a game I plan on buying at launch right now. It's more I want to wait and see how much Nintendo charges for it, and then what people think of it. Because for all intents and purposes, I consider Splatoon on Wii U to be what Pikmin was for the GameCube, to be Nintendo's attempt at a new franchise, or at least a new franchise that's sustainable and by Nintendo EAD, which is super cool, but even though it's super risky, that's also the reason why I'm probably going to wait and see what people actually think about it before dropping money on it.
Yeah, I think it's just a colorful shooter, which is great to see. I like to see variety in a genre that is sort of thought of as tired. It's good to see Nintendo kind of doing their own spin on it and letting in some of the new designers there really run wild with the concept. I think that's great. One of my favorite games from 2014 was Plants vs. Zombies Garden Warfare for almost the same.
That sort of vibe, yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, I think I'm probably going to buy it at launch just because I think it just looks really fun. Every trailer that they've released for it looks great, so I'm on board.
Yeah, we shall see. Alex, you are getting a new 3DS. Do you have any plans to get a Wii U, since I presume you don't own one yet?
I still don't have one. Splatoon's not gonna get me to get one. It'll take Zelda. It'll take Zelda. So I'll sit on the fence a little longer. Yeah.
Is this your first 3DS, the new 3DS XL you're getting?
Yeah. Yeah, I've stayed off 3DS. I haven't been a big portable gamer for years, since Game Boy Color, and then I dabbled in GBA a little bit, but fell off with Ruby and Sapphire. So it's been a while.
So I have to ask then. You technically came to this site, were here for a while, and then became news editor while not owning either a 3DS or a Wii U. Which is fine. It doesn't change that you're great on the site and all.
Yeah, no. My passion for Nintendo, it goes back to the days of Super Nintendo and N64 and GameCube. So, yeah, I miss the days of the GameCube. I hope that will Nintendo will return to form one day, but I have a feeling that's not going to happen. But
no, it's fantastic that you like Nintendo as an entity more than you even necessarily like their games nowadays.
That's 100% true.
Yeah. You know what? That's what draws so many people to this website is Nintendo, not necessarily what's hot by Nintendo at the moment. Anywho, let's talk about a big story that came out today. According to the Wall Street Journal, Netflix is reportedly producing a Legend of Zelda Netflix live-action series, which is coming from a person familiar with the matter. That's all they have on the source, but because they're Wall Street Journal, apparently it is being treated as a serious rumor, if not a practical fact. And the show aims to be a family-friendly version of Game of Thrones. Neither Netflix nor Nintendo have commented on the matter, and I think there's about a 40% chance that this is actually real. I think it's a fun idea to think about, and I think that's why it's exploded on the internet today. Like, who would play Link? How would that go? Would he talk? Who would be cast as Ganondorf or Ganon? Or what era of Zelda would they even pick? Would there be a young? All that stuff. But at the same time, why would this happen? Why would Nintendo agree with it? What could Nintendo's terms possibly be for them to create a Zelda show in the modern era that they're happy with? I'm thinking a lot about this. I just don't believe it's real.
Well, they did make that Zelda cartoon in the late 80s, right? They let somebody... Well, Nintendo didn't make it. They let somebody make it.
Right.
And Nintendo likes money. And if Netflix has some of that, it could be a good idea. Netflix is doing a couple new shows with really popular kids franchises, so the news doesn't really surprise me that they're in talks to do it. But whether or not it'll happen,
Right.
Who knows?
I'd say it's highly likely that this rumor is true, but whether or not it comes to fruition is another matter entirely. I could see it being in quote production for a long time. And
I will say though, if this was Netflix does some pretty good original programming. If this was Hulu or Crackle or somebody else, I would be super skeptical of the quality. But Netflix doing it, I feel a little bit more comfortable with that. Let's see what they got. Let's see if they get a good creative team behind it before we condemn it. I know a lot of people are ready to get their pitchforks out, but I'm not ready to do that quite yet.
I can't help but wonder, like, who would be a good cast for Link? Because it requires a very specific look, a very specific body type, regardless of what age you go for. Unless they decide to age him to be about 30 and then get, like, the guy from Thor or someone else to do it. And then Zelda is... I mean, these are all anime characters. It's so... Or not anime characters, but Japanese animated characters. So it's just weird to imagine how they would translate Western actors to pull this off and at the same time make it faithful. Because if Nintendo's involved, and if they are serious about making this go forward, and if they are actively involved like they say they are, this is going to work, because Nintendo won't let it go to air if it doesn't work. I just wonder how they would actually make it work. Like, do you guys have any ideas for a smart way to pull this show off?
No, but that's why the Netflix is hiring smart writers and producers.
Yeah. I can't picture it, but that kind of has me more excited than ever. Because,
actually, you know, like, I think we're in a similar spot when the Lego movie was announced, right? You think of, like, the Lego movie, how is that going to work? You know, like, that's just not going to be good at all. You have all these disparate sort of licensed characters in the world. Like, the concept on paper doesn't sound all that interesting, but that movie was really, really good.
It was, but Lego movie was also animated. And I think I would be a lot less worried about this if the Legend of Zelda show was also animated. But the fact that they're going for a Game of Thrones thing, but it's clearly going to be a lower version, a lower budget Game of Thrones thing.
I don't know. Netflix has deep pockets.
They do.
Do you know how much Netflix is? Excuse me, not Netflix. I think HBO spent like $20 million on an episode of Game of Thrones last season, just for a certain battle scene. And I don't think Netflix has that budget.
There's a lot of subscribers out there.
Yeah.
And Zelda's a big brand, big name. I don't know. I'm excited to see what happens, if anything happens.
Absolutely.
Okay. Well, one more posed question I would like to make before we move on to our final story. Which era of Zelda do you think would be best for a Netflix-produced series? I think the smart thing to do would be to do Ocarina of Time, but to make a series out of that, because you can do things with the seasons. It's a long game with a big story, but people also like it. It's not like Twilight Princess and how people are now reacting to Skyward Sword, where people think it's too drawn out. Like, there's enough in Ocarina of Time where they could make a proper series out of it. I think the ballsy thing to do would be to make it based on the original Legend of Zelda, but expand that out into the concept of a show, like the original NES one. I think there's a chance they're probably going to attempt an original story, so they don't have to worry about any of the game continuity. What do y'all think?
Yeah, I mean, the Zelda games, I don't know if any of their plots really would translate that well to a television series story, so I feel like there'd need to be a lot of creative liberties taken. Regardless, I think as far as what it will take from the series is, young elf boy saves princess sort of deal,
Yeah, I mean, I think it depends a lot on the audience that this is going to be targeted at. If it's going to be, younger kids or families, I'm sure they could get a lot of side stories out of the Zelda world and using those characters. Like, I don't think necessarily have to have only focus on the overarching story. I think there's probably a lot they could come up with that could be interesting.
I think Lord of the Rings 1 would probably be a decent model for a Zelda show. Because I saw those movies for the first time a few months ago, and one of the things that sticks out to me about Lord of the Rings is how it starts at the nice quiet town with the same way a Zelda game does. It expands to a lot of traveling, and then there were these sequences that feel not a lot like Zelda dungeons, but could easily be translated into Zelda dungeons. Like, this is the one where they fight the giant spider, though I think that was in a later movie. This is the one where they go into the caves and find the lost city of the... It's like the orcs, right? It's like I wonder if I wonder if that would be a way to do this, is to actually more take inspiration of Lord of the Rings than from Game of Thrones.
Yeah, I could see that.
Yeah, I don't know. Anyways, let's talk about the super fun story this week and our final story of the show. The Club Nintendo final reward list has been finally revealed a few days ago. It's the final list, over 100 digital games. Some of the notables include Wonderful 101 for 600 coins, Game & Wario for 600 coins, We Party You for 850, Doc Lewis's Punch-Out returning for 250, Harmo Knight for 300, and then a bunch of 3DS games, 3D Land 600, New Super Mario Bros. 2 600, DKCR 3D 600, Paper Mario 700, Kid Icarus 700, and way more. And it seems like this is like their attempt to expend the wallets of every person remaining with a Club Nintendo account. Like, it seems like they're getting super aggressive for that reason. And then there's also some new and returning physical rewards. They got like the 2013 Platinum poster set returning for 700. They have Smash Bros. Posters. And then some of the new stuff includes a Majora's Mask Messenger Bag and Jigsaw Puzzle for 800 coins each. They got an awesome new Smash Bros. Poster set with the Duck Hunt, Bowser Jr. and Shulk for 700. And then they got the 2016 desktop calendar for 400. I was personally hoping Ball, the Game & Watch game, would come back. I want to go around. Alex, you don't have the means for Club Nintendo, so you didn't participate. But Chris,
yeah,
what did you get?
I only got one thing so far because I could only log in on the first day. So I picked up the Zelda 3DS XL pouch.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah. That's what I've got so far.
What do you want? Because I'm sure you have a short list in the back of your head, if not in a physical text document.
Yeah, I'll probably pick up Game & Wario, Doc Lewis's Punch-Out, maybe a digital version of 3D Land, I don't know. I have like 1,800 points to spend, so yeah. I'm sure I'll go crazy and pick up a bunch of stuff.
Okay, I have the only stuff I've gotten. I got Dylan's Rolling Western 2 for like 200 coins. I haven't played that yet, and I didn't even think I liked the original Dylan's Rolling Western that much, but I heard the sequel was way better, so I picked that up. And then I also got the Chibi Robo 3DS game.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Is it really that bad?
I really liked the GameCube game. I don't know about you, Alex. You said you were a big GameCube guy. I thought the GameCube game was excellent, and I thought Photo Finder was super disappointing.
Okay, because I played the demo for Photo Finder, and originally, before I even played it, I thought it was just going to be some shitty photo-taking app. But when I actually played the demo, it seemed like there were parts of it that were actually a Chibi Robo game, with a tiny, tiny bit of exploration, and then a tiny, tiny bit of that addicting Chibi Robo gameplay. Did it end up just being a shitty photo-making game under the guise of a Chibi Robo game?
Yeah, pretty much.
Oh, how long did you play it?
Not long. I took like a couple of, maybe like a half dozen of the photos, screwed around with it, but it didn't hold my attention. So one other thing I would like to note is that the Flipnote 3D that's finally coming out in North America and Europe. Originally, when this website went up with the final rewards, it said later this week you were going to get Flipnote 3D, and then it changed to later you're going to get Flipnote 3D. Now the text says later this month you're going to get Flipnote Studio 3D. So that's when were you able to log in, Alex? Because I've like tried all week, just like hangs at the login screen.
So I have had a very irresponsible sleeping schedule lately. I have been going to bed 3, 4 in the morning. And I mean, I don't have to wake up for anything. Like, my classes are later in the day, so it hasn't affected me that much. But at like 3 o'clock in the morning, I was able to kind of get in.
Yeah.
Enough to get those rewards.
I'll be waiting a while. I do like that they put up that disclaimer that, you have until the end of June to redeem this stuff. So, yeah.
It's very interesting. I bet they chose these rewards because they know that they can make more of them easily if they want to. Like, the Retro Mario t-shirt seems very simple. It's very plain, just a gray shirt with Mario. Everything else is pretty much made out of paper or cardboard or is the simple pouch, except for the game card case. But even that seems plain, so I doubt a lot of people are going to order that except for collector's sake. Like, I'm guessing none of these are actually going to sell out. I could be wrong. I could be wrong later, but that doesn't make sense to me. That they would have only enough rewards for the people who are able to sign in the first 3 days out of 6 months.
Yeah. I do like that. I saw an image of the card case that you were talking about, and one of the covers has like the new 3DS, the non-XL version, like the faceplates on it.
Oh no!
As like an extra insult to injury that's not coming over here. You can get a Club Nintendo reward to remind you that you're not getting that.
Oh, this is a mess. Okay. I'm on the page now, so I'm just going to make a few broad recommendations. The VC stuff I would avoid, just because, except if it's the N64 stuff, because you can get way cooler games here. Like, you can get like actual disc-based games. If you don't have the Wonderful 101 for 600 coins, you really should get that.
No, you shouldn't. No. Mm-mm.
So you played it and didn't like it? You're in that camp?
Yeah. Platinum games, it's an acquired taste, and some people love their games, and that's awesome. I just cannot. I wanted to like Wonderful 101. Couldn't do it.
Right. Did you
play Bayonetta or Bayonetta 2?
I played the demo of Bayonetta 2 and couldn't get into that either. Yeah.
You know what? I actually agree with you. I'm not even surprised that I was surprised, because I did not get into Wonderful 101 either. Like, I got like the first 3 worlds or like level sets in, and then it felt like it was just the same game over and over again.
Yeah.
Like, it was kind of repetitive. The only Platinum game I think I've loved, and that's not to say, like, to the people who think they're one of the best developers ever, more power to you, the only Platinum game I could ever say I loved is probably Metal Gear Rising. Which is a really, really excellent game, like, just from beginning to end. One of the best final boss fights I've ever played in a game ever.
I do think, though, 600 coins for a disc game, that's pretty awesome.
That's really good.
This is great stuff.
We Fit You, don't get that, because it was free for a long time, and you would probably just feel bad long term that you got it. And then also, if you really want to get in shape, Wii Fit's not going to do it for you in 99% of cases. It's just hard work, diet, and exercise. Earthbound's real good. That's actually a VC game you could probably get. And then We Party You, I'm looking at. Did you ever play that one?
No.
Okay.
Not played that one.
That's 850 coins. That's the only like disc game here that I don't actually have. Doc Lewis's Punch-Out, I'd probably get that if you just want it for collector's purposes. I'm probably looking at Smash Bros. For 250 coins. Majora's Mask for 250 coins. If you have a 3DS, that might be the way to go, because I'm sure it'll come to Wii U eventually. And then, let's see. Oh, yeah, you can get the entire Kid Icarus trilogy on here, I noticed. They have Kid Icarus 1 3D Classics, Kid Icarus 2, and then Kid Icarus
Uprising. Now, wait, Alex, are you telling me that you haven't already purchased Urban Champion 3D Classics and the VC version of that? I was reminded, like, why did they do a 3D Classics version of Urban Champion? Like, what possessed Nintendo to do that?
Because it was easy and a Nintendo game, and people know what it is because of how bad it is.
Who likes Urban Champion?
There's probably someone, and I hear that the more you actually get into Urban Champion, it becomes a slightly better game if you give it the time. Like, it does have a tiny bit more depth to it than people give it credit for. But I think the reason that game happened is because it was way easier than doing a full 3D version of Mario World or Yoshi's Island or any of these other games that people actually care about. A 3D Classics version of Punch-Out would be fantastic, though.
Absolutely.
I think Punch-Out's made for 3D, but no one's made the 3D Punch-Out game yet.
Yeah.
Let me see. Sakura Samurai, did you ever play that one? I'm looking at that one, too.
I got that as a free, like, one of the games I got for free in the last couple of years, and I barely played it.
Okay. I hear that one's like Punch-Out.
Yeah.
Brain Age Concentration Training is a fantastic game if you want to challenge yourself. It's actually the best Brain Age game in my opinion. 600 coins, that's really good. Crosswords Plus do not get that because you can get that game for $5 on Amazon, the cartridge version. Dylan's Rolling Western, take it or leave it. Harmonite's a fantastic Game Freak game, and then all the 3DS games that are there otherwise, like the Star Fox, Donkey Kong, Mario 2, 3D Land, Paper Mario, and Kid Icarus. If you don't have any of those, get them, because they're all worth that 600 coin price. It's just a little disappointing to me that people never gave that Club Nintendo never gave more of this stuff a chance. Like once every quarter, like once every 2 or 3 months, I wish they would put up like Kid Icarus Uprising or New Super Mario Bros. 2 for 600 coins.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's I see a little bit of a missed opportunity here. And before we close, one final question I have. Do you think these will be the Elite Rewards, or do you think they have a couple tricks up their sleeve? Like they're going to offer Captain Toad or Hyrule Warriors or another Wii U game that's not selling anymore?
Maybe.
It's a conclusive answer.
That's not an answer.
Just throw something out there. Be ballsy, Chris.
I mean, I think you mentioned maybe Xenoblade will be a reward for elite folks. I don't know.
Yeah. I don't know. Alex, from your outsider perspective?
I'm the outsider. I haven't been plugged into the Club Nintendo ecosystem so much, so I don't feel like anything I would say would bear all that much weight here. But yeah, I don't know. I wouldn't get my hopes up if I were you. That's all I'm going to say.
All right. It's at the very least, we can say that Club Nintendo is the best right now on its deathbed than it has been in the last 5 years, probably.
You know what I wish they had brought back is that Luigi's Mansion statue, because I would have been all over that. I didn't have enough coins at the time that they put that up, and I missed it, and I regret that.
Yup. It's the as I was saying, like, same thing with Game & Watch Ball. Like that's my biggest regret, is not picking that up and actually getting that game now. Because how cool would it be if Game & Watch Ball came out as a reward now with no other quality on the store? Like people would eat it up immediately the same way they ate up the 3DS XL chargers and whatnot. Yeah. But I digress. That is our show for this week. I would like to thank Christopher C.J. Johnston for joining me.
Thanks for having me, Alex.
No problem. Come back anytime. And what do you have to plug for us, Chris?
You can check out the Player One podcast at playeronepodcast.com. You can follow me on Twitter at SuperPack. And yeah, that's about it.
Okay, and then are there any cool iPhone games from Adult Swim Games?
There are many cool Adult Swim games for iPhone. But we have a Steam game coming up called Oblitus that is pretty friggin' awesome. It's a platform adventure game. I think a lot of people are going to like it. It's on Steam. You can add it to your wish list. That's Oblitus, Oblitus, on Steam.
Excellent. And Alex, you can find him on Twitter at Alex C. Osborn, AlexOsborn. Is that correct? Did I spell that right?
Yeah, there's a C in there. But
okay, it's Alex C. Osborn, or Alex Cosborn, if you want to pronounce it that way. Thank you for being our guest again 2 weeks in a row. You have been fantastic. It is a surprise that we don't have you on more often, considering you are actually the site's news editor now.
Yeah, but also considering I don't own Nintendo platforms, maybe that's part of it too.
Okay. Anyways, if you are watching this show now or will watch it in the future, thank you for watching. Please leave any feedback you have in the comments. We want to make this the best show possible. Anything you liked, anything you didn't like. Thank you so much for watching, guys. I'm Alex Kalafi. Bye-bye.